If you are that one person that knows exactly what you need in life, you will do anything possible to make sure that you get what you need.
Hello and welcome to Boss His Money. This is the channel where we take charge of every gift that God has blessed us with. Every gift is very important, and God gives us these gifts so that we can take control of them and use them accordingly. Today I have a very special guest, a woman of God who have really done great things, achieved many things, and she'll be able to share with us her story of triumph, how she managed to come up on the top. Who is Pamela?
Pamela is, first of all, because I love to acknowledge God, because He comes first in my life. So Pamela is a child of God, a daughter of God. Pamela is also a mother. Pamela is a daughter and a grandmother. Pamela is a social worker, and Pamela is an entrepreneur.
Wow. She has too many titles.
Yes.
And that's what we call bossing the gifts that God has given us.
Amen.
So what job were you doing before you came in this country?
So before I came here, I come from Zambia, Central Africa. Before I came here, I used to work as a social worker.
Okay.
Yes, under the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services. I started as a social worker in 1994.
Okay.
Specifically November. After I'd gone to PCC, which is in Kabwe, now Mulungushi University. I worked as a social worker for 8 years before I came to the United States.
So when you came to the United States, I'm sure you were thinking I'll just straight away go into social work, right?
Right. And boy, did I have a shock of my life. So when I came to the United States, apparently they could not even get all of my credits. So I had to start from the very bottom.
Starting from the very bottom. After she had been working for 8 whole years as a social worker because they couldn't get the credits. I'm sure someone might be watching and thinking, oh, I'm a social worker and I want to go to the United States. They need to know this information. So how did you just start over?
So when I got here, when I noticed that I couldn't do social work, I'm going to say the first thing that you have to do is to be humble. You really have to be humble. Because having worked as a social worker in Zambia, you know, like I had my own office. I had we call them office orderlies in Zambia. Like they would come and clean my office.
Right.
When it's lunchtime, I was just be like, hey, could you go buy my lunch? And they'll do that. But then when I came here, that all changed. So I had to make up my mind. Am I gonna live in the past and just keep on dreaming? Or am I gonna put my pride down and do what I have to do? If you really want something in life, you have to come to a place where you have to lay everything down.
Oh, yeah.
Above all, you have to seek the face of God. Pray, and God will direct you how you should go. I had to start working as a nursing assistant. So what that entails is that I was working in a nursing home where I had to take care of the elders. You know, like they need care with their ADLs, like their daily activities of living. That is, I was helping them with feeding them, bathing them, and whatever it is that they needed help with. And to be honest with you, when I was doing it initially, it was like a shock to me because there was nothing like that back home where I come from. But I had to swallow my pride. I had to also put myself in a situation and look at the people that I was taking care of just like they were my own.
Right.
You know, like coming from a background of a social worker's main objective is to make sure everybody lives a life that's full of dignity and integrity. So when I looked at the people that I was taking care of, my goal was to make sure that they lived a dignified life. And for them to live a dignified life, I had to help them because it's not their fault that they can't do what they're not able to do right now. They can't do what they were able to do when they were younger. Some of them are really sick. Some of them, it's because it's old age and they can't take care of themselves, so they really need somebody to take care of. That kind of like helped me to look at the job that I started doing in a positive manner.
That's so powerful. The mindset change and the humbleness. You know, in life, for you to get somewhere far, there is a need for humbleness. It took humbleness on our part and also the love of the people, and to realize that they need help. Every one of us at one time will need help.
Right.
So wherever God takes you at whatever time, be humble and be able to do your very best.
Right.
So how did you come up from being a nursing assistant, is that what they call it?
Right.
Nursing assistant to where you are now. But before we can go where you are now, I want to know the process, because someone will be watching and say, oh, so from nursing assistant you can become a social worker, or you can become this and that. So how did you just navigate all these things?
Right. Social work is a calling for me. I'm working as an assistant nursing personnel, but then in my heart I still knew that I still wanted to continue with my social work journey. So I started researching. I did go to CCAC.
And what is CCAC?
Community College of Allegheny County.
Okay.
Because I live in Allegheny County. So I did go to CCAC, and I did inquire what was it going to entail for me to go to school there. So I did give them my credentials, but then they were like, you have to start from scratch.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, I could have stopped right there. But like I said from the beginning, humbleness is everything. And having a determined heart. If you are that one person that knows exactly what you need in life, you do anything possible to make sure that you get what you need. And I knew I had to be a social worker because it's a calling for me.
Yes.
I love to help people. I love to see people comfortable. Can you imagine somebody that cannot be able to navigate their way out? They might need food, they don't know where to get the food. But if I'm able to even point that one person to where they can find food, or where they can find employment, or where they can find any form of resource, let me do that. Let me be that instrument that God can use for such a purpose. So that was my drive. Because I saw a lot of people that didn't know a lot of stuff, especially. We even have some people from my own country that you are new here, you don't even know a lot of stuff. So I had to step in that direction to make sure that if I go to school and if I learn the ways of how they do social work here, I learn where to find resources, I was gonna feel fulfilled because I knew that I was gonna help one or two people.
I think that's very powerful. You know, it's very important for each and every one of us to find the calling that God has given us. For her, it was social work, making sure that everyone finds the help that they can get. That's why even when she found the roadblock, you know, she goes to a community college, they say you have to start from the scratch. She didn't mind. You know, a lot of times the reason why we stop is when something is not really your passion. It's not really your calling. What is the scratch? Somebody might be wondering, what is the scratch?
The scratch for me, it went as far as me writing what's called a GED.
Whoa.
A GED is a high school diploma in the United States. Even when back home, I went as far as 12th grade, but I still had to do the GED. That was almost like 10 years or even 12 years after I was done with high school.
Wow.
I had to go and do GED. And trust me, I couldn't even remember some of the math.
I can only imagine.
But I told myself I'm going to do it. Somehow it's going to be done. In everything, put God. Have faith. And that's what I did. I remember driving all the way to Monroeville, wrote my GED. I was so nervous when I was waiting for my results.
Yes.
Because I didn't even know if because you have to write like 4 subjects with it: math, English, social studies, and science. So I didn't even know if I was writing the right stuff after having not been in school for a long time. And what a nice surprise it was when my certificate came in the mail. I was like, wow, how great thou art.
You made it.
Yes, yes.
There's somebody who might just be 18 and they just moved in a new country, especially this country where they want you to write your GED to prove that you've been in 12th grade. And they're sitting there thinking, oh, I already did this. You hear that story, it's a story of triumph, where you know what you want, and then you go for it in spite of the obstacles. Many times people stop. Just a little obstacle, they stop. You hear that story, you are sitting on that fence, don't sit anymore.
So after I did my GED, I went back to the college that I had mentioned, CCSC. So I enrolled. I studied with my associate.
That was the chosen college.
Yes,
yes. I was going back right there.
Yes, and I started with associate. I didn't mind starting with my associate degree. Mind you, at that particular time, I had my son must have been 5 months old.
Whoa.
My last born. Yes. So I was going to school, and when I come home, I'm doing my homework. He wants to play with mommy. He would sit on my lap. He would be trying to play with my laptop and this and that. And not forgetting that I had other sons, his elder brothers, 2 of them. Not only that, wife, taking care of the house, making sure everybody was comfortable, cooking, everything. And I still had my full-time job as a nursing assistant. So you can imagine me like juggling school, kids.
It's so amazing.
Yeah, it was a lot of things.
The human spirit is so determined. Being a mother, being a wife, working, going to school, because there's a goal.
Yes, yes.
Oh, wow. We want to hear more of this story.
Yeah, so the most humbling part was, despite all those, every single time it was the end of the close of the semester, I had A's.
Oh,
amazing. Yeah, God is awesome. He is.
Somebody's clapping and saying, oh my God, I don't even have a baby, so I can do this.
Yes. You trust me, you can do it. All you have to do is to put your mind to what you're doing.
Yes.
And yesterday in church, we learned about balance. We just don't have to work and, I'm just going to be working. Oh, I'm just going to be praying. Oh, I'm just going to be... No, you have to balance up.
Yes.
Know how to balance your life. Know when it's time for school, it's school. When you're done with school, not to put your books aside and do family stuff.
Yes.
And then when you're done with family stuff, now I'm back to my nursing assistant job. It's time for me to put in my 100%. So that's what I did. When it was time for school, I didn't play. I made sure that I was always like getting those A's. When I was done with my associate, I was on the dean's list, and yeah, that was really amazing for me. And not only did I get the dean's list, but I remember 2013, I was nominated Student of the Year via the James Mwape Peer Award. That really encouraged me. We need encouragement in life.
Yes.
When we have those people cheering you on, it even gives you more morale to do what you're doing. But I want to talk to somebody out there that might be saying, but what if I don't have anybody to cheer me on? Remember David. It says he encouraged himself in the Lord.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So you have to come to a place where you should know what you want, and despite of what is going on, make sure that you push.
Yes.
If nobody is there to cheer you on, you should always know God is always there cheering you on.
That's very, very, very powerful, a very powerful point, because all of us, there are seasons that God will allow you to walk alone for a reason, because He's sharpening you. Right. He's changing your mindset. He's helping you. And because you had this dream, you persisted in spite of. So every one of us has to reach a point where you just keep pushing, because you can see the end of it go. It's more like a faith story to me, the way you are saying, and believing that we can do all things
Right.
Through Christ who gives us strength.
Hallelujah.
Because the things you were doing, really, humanly speaking, that's just like impossible. So where are you now? What are you doing now? Are you still a nursing assistant? Where are you?
No, actually, from CCSC, I did graduate to CAU, California University of Pittsburgh, to do my bachelor's. That's how great God is. He opens doors.
Yes.
So I did go to CAU. I studied, I still continued with social work, did my bachelor's. The faith continued. The pushing continued. I still had the same full-time job.
Wow.
My son was much older now that I can be like, hey, mommy's doing schoolwork.
Yes.
So maybe things were getting a little bit easier. I'm going to talk also about the aspect of finances. A lot of times when we go to school here, there's a provision where people can get school loans and stuff like that, which is really good. It's such a blessing. I want to thank God for one thing. I went to school, I did doubles, and I paid for my school without any student loan.
Oh, wow.
Straight out of the pocket.
That one is big.
I really thank God for that, because to me that's a miracle. Having a family to take care of, full-time job, and then going to school and still be able to go to work and just do those doubles to make sure that I paid off my school. I can't even fathom how that happened, because even when I look back, I'm like, how did that happen? When I graduated with my bachelor's, God being faithful, I graduated with what is called an advanced standing. So what that advanced standing means is that you cleared everything with A's. So because I cleared everything with A's, I was given a choice to do my master's in a year.
Right.
Yeah. If I wanted to, I had a choice of doing it like part-time, which was going to take me 2 years. But instead of doing that, I chose to dive in.
She was all in. I'm telling you, she had a real goal which she was focusing on. When you have a goal, I'm telling you, you will do it no matter what. I tell people that sometimes we don't do things because it's not, the desire is not strong enough, or the pain is not strong enough.
Right.
Because when the pain becomes unbearable, you will do things that you never thought you would be able to do. And in this country, a lot of these young people, even older people who have gone to school, they rack up a lot of debt. With her, she paid it in advance, so that when she's done, she doesn't have to go back there.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Then after you decided now to go for the master's.
Yes, I promise you, I'm so daring. But thank God. You know, there can be two darings. There can be a negative daring and a positive one.
Oh, yes.
I choose the positive one. When I want something, I dive in with full force.
Amen.
And that's exactly what I did. And don't forget, everything that I'm saying, credit goes to God.
Yes.
So I did dive in, and I did my master's in 1 year. I remember some of the girls that I went to school with, we started together doing the advanced standing master's, the 1 year, and they dropped off along the way. They were like, Pam, let's just relax and let's just do a part-time. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
I know what I'm looking for.
I'm going all the way. And I did. And mind you, I know for most of you that know that I've done masters, you're not allowed to get a C when you're doing your masters. It's supposed to be all A's, and if it's a B, it has to be a B+. So that means a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
A lot of hard work. But I thank God I'm here. I did finish my school with my master's in social work.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Keep pushing, and I promise you the next time you see me, it'll be DSW, Doctorate Social Work, and I'll be Dr. Pam.
She's now a master's degree holder after having worked so hard. What advice can you give to someone who has a dream? They know it's from God. What advice can you give them? Hold
on to that dream. Do not give up. When God starts a thing, He's faithful to complete it. You'll be amazed as how did this happen? How did I even make it? But when God is leading you, you don't have to understand. You just have to trust him.
What if they are feeling scared?
Trust me, I did feel scared sometimes. Feel scared, open your mouth, pray. By the time you're done praying, you will feel the encouragement. I always encourage people, even if you say, what about if I fail? How did you make it? What if I get F and this and that? What if I get C's? And 4-7 times. Don't just stay down there. Get up. Get there, even if it has to mean you getting there while you're crawling.
Wow.
The answer is do not give up.
That's powerful. Even if you go crawling, you don't have to walk there, crawl there. Oh, I love that.
Yes. Don't give up. I know of people that have repeated classes. You won't be the first one to repeat a class. The more you do some stuff, the more you master them. You can fail today, but you can still get up. I'm going to give you a testimony. I didn't do well at my grade 12 at some point. That didn't stop me.
Right.
I didn't do well, not because I could not, but because I became so playful. You know how it is when you're a teenager?
Yeah.
I ended up like being big-headed because I knew I was one of those that didn't even need to study to pass. But guess what? Life humbled me. It didn't stop me there. After I got up and dusted myself, I got back in the game.
Yes.
You can get back in the game. You might be out there and you're like, I've failed so many times, I've done this and this. Get back in the game.
That can never be overemphasized. That's a very powerful encouragement. Get up and do what you need to do.
Right.
Remember, you are the only one who can fight for that dream that God has given you.
Right.
I just want to thank you so much for coming here, for blessing this channel. I'm sure somebody is listening and they'll arise and take their place, because anything and everything is possible.
Amen.
If a mother with little children, a wife, a worker can go to school and achieve all these great things, you know, by the help of God and by pushing herself, you can do it as well. If you find value in this video, please leave us a thumbs up or even subscribe if you are not subscribed. Thank you so much for watching.